I had a recommendation to do a top 10 violent Hong Kong movies list for somebody who needs some movies to watch over their time off. So I figure, why not? So let's just go ahead and go through this list. This is not any particular top 10 or anything else particularly. This is just more of a movies that I like and that I think that you would like. So let's go ahead and get into it. And let me go ahead and say this for the record. Of course, my bias will be is that a lot of these are going to be Shaw Brothers films. So let's just get that out of the way. The first movie up is going to be Ricky O, or The Story of Ricky. This is a classic sort of Chinese film, although it comes from a Japanese manga. That's basically a guy who gets arrested. His sister is actually his girlfriend is killed, and basically wants to get revenge in this sort of, kind of like, I'm not sure how you would describe it even. I guess more of like an extension of like, I don't know, fighting in prisons and whatnot, like fighting for that sort of thing. I can't think of that type of thing. But anyway, well, I'll go ahead and explain it to you in one single clip. So I'll go ahead and show you. Alright, I'm not going to do that for every single one, but I figure just to explain it, that's just kind of how crazy it is. There's so much other stuff in there, but definitely that would be one to check out. Alright, so the first one is much more about blood and gore, and I could give a lot away about the ending, but I don't feel like it. So this one is going to be all about boobies and vagine, basically. Bobs and vagine. This is Bamboo House of Dolls, where Western women and Chinese women are being held in a Japanese POW camp, and they try to escape. That's basically it. That's basically the whole story of it. So yeah. Alright, so next up is going to be the movie Election, which is kind of a redo of a lot of the classic sort of triad films that were done in Hong Kong. This one is basically about an election that a boss has died, a Dai Lo, and somebody's got to take over. So that's basically it. You have different, you have the classic sort of like hothead sort of person, much as you'd see in like Godfather and this and that. And I think it's just a good taut drama, but also, you do have some killing in it. So there you go. Not much else to say. Alright, so next up on the list is Hard Boiled, also known as Lat Sao Sin Tam in Cantonese. This is just a classic shoot 'em up. Basically, you have basically Zhao Yunfat, who's tracking down a bad guy who is selling guns in Hong Kong. And, he eventually decides to blow up a hospital. That's, once again, I'm going to try to keep these simple. That's basically it. Pretty simple story. Okay, so next up is the second Shaw Brothers film, which is Lost Souls, which is a movie that basically describes how mainland Chinese immigrants come into Hong Kong and can be used for prostitution and, eventually farmed out for, I guess what will be collectively known as white slavery. And basically, yes, they do escape, but even when they escape, they don't know where they're going, this and that. So it's a very taut thriller, basically, with a lot of, starting kind of standard 80s Shaw Brothers sort of, nihilism. So if you enjoy that, hopefully I'll enjoy this. I'm going to get these Shaw Brothers ones knocked out so we can continue on to other ones. So this is a Secret Service of the Imperial Court. Excuse me, I'm just going to leave that flub in. And this is a 1984 film starring Leung Gar-yan. That's the guy with the mustache, the beard and the sword in his hand. And basically he fights a corrupt eunuch who has taken over for the idiotic emperor and the horny emperor. Basically, he's been manipulated by this eunuch to sleep with women and stuff like that, and because of that, he's made himself emperor. So basically, he's going to fight that. Once again, I try to keep it simple. Let's move on to the next one. Alright, the next movie on our list is this is going to be the Anthony Wong series of films. Anthony Wong was also in, of course, Hard Boiled, so you kind of get a trilogy of Anthony Wong. Anthony Wong did a lot of Category 3 films in the 90s and early 2000s. He had to make money, and this is one of them. Ebola Syndrome is basically a movie where he catches Ebola, and he just spreads it around, basically. And it's a very nasty film. I don't know about violent, but there is, hand chopping and just a lot of gross body horror. I guess I'll put it that way. So, if y'all like that, then enjoy. Okay, another movie from Anthony Wong. This time, Anthony Wong is playing a guy who is a murderer, an outright murderer, based on a true story of a man from mainland China who moves to Hong Kong and basically kills this family and cooks them into buns, basically. And so, basically, he makes human buns, and he's eventually caught and kills himself in prison. Sorry to give it away, but that's basically the story of it. So, yeah. Once again, if you like that sort of thing, you do. If you don't, well, I gave you a recommendation. Did I say I was done with Shaw Brothers? I lied. This is the actual last one, which is Boxer's Omen. So I've tried to balance this out between some gunplay violence versus body horror violence, as we've seen with Ebola Syndrome and even Story of Ricky. This one is also more body horror, but it's also kind of just gross, basically. This is The Boxer's Omen. This is the final movie in a trilogy directed by Gui Chi Hong of Shaw Brothers, basically, where a boxer is overtaken by a black magic, and he goes around, he has to go to a Buddhist monk and, try to get this, try to get rid of this evil spirit that is trying to take him over, basically. Yeah. There's a bit where where the bad guys cut open an alligator, not an actual alligator, I don't think, and eat its guts, and there's so much craziness, I can't even describe it. So anyway, if y'all enjoy that type of thing, enjoy that recommendation. I think I've used all the transitions that I could on Wondershare Filmora, so I'm just trying to make it more interesting, because I'll admit the audio is shit. I'm sorry. I apologize for that, but that's a whole other thing. This last entry is, I guess, more of a murder mystery. I guess you can consider it violent in the sense that, yeah, there is throw up and there is murder. There are some grisly murders, but it also balances out with a little bit of comedy. So this is the movie Red Panther. I remember I just got this as a random fluke, basically, from Far East Films, and I was like, oh, this is a nice little film. So basically, they track down a serial killer, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, okay, I'm not sure if this gels too well, but if nothing else, I hope you enjoyed this list and say, oh, there were a couple of those that were okay. Others were meh. And as long as one person enjoys them, that's all that matters. So, anyway, hopefully y'all enjoyed that little list. So see you later. Bye-bye.